Here beginneth the monkey's tale, de casibus virorum illustrium. I will bewail in manner of tragedy the harm of hem that stowed in hay degree, and fillen so that there is no remedy to bring hem out of here adversity. 3185 for certain, one that fortune list to flee, there may no man the cause of here withhold, let no man trust on blind prosperity, be war by thys ensamples true and old. Heading. From here. 3188, pt of, rest by. Lucifer. At Lucifer, though he an angel were, 3190 and not a man, at him I will begin. 11, 4, thought fortune may non-angel dear, from hay degree yet fell he for his sin down into hella, where he yet is in. O Lucifer! Brightest of angels alla, 3195 now art O Sathanas, that mayst not twin out of misery, in which that thou art fall. 3191, though, hn thok. Adam. Lo Adam, in the feld of Damascene, with God's own finger wrought was he, and nat bigitin of man's sperm unclean, 3200 in welty el parodies, saving o tree. 245, T 14017, 14048. 21, had never worldly man so hay degree as Adam, till he for misgovernance was drive out of his high prosperity to labor, and to hella, and to meschance. 3197, CMHL Damascene, EHN Damascene. Samson. 3205 Lo Samson, which that was enunciate by th'angel, lunga his native it, and was to God Almighty consecrate, and stood in noblesse, whyl he might see. Was never switch another as was he. 3210 to speak of strength, and therewith hardiness. 31, but to his wives told he his secret, through which he slow himself, for wretchedness. 3206, HLCP th'angel, HN, PD lane the ongle, CM angel. Samson, this noble almighty champion, without weepin save his Hans tway. 3215 he slow an al torrent the leon, toward his wedding walking by the way. His false wyf could him so please and pray till she his consile knew, and she untrue unto his foos his consile gone by rye. 3220 and him forsook, and took another new. 41, 300 foxes took Samson for ire, and let hear tales he todged her bond, and set the foxes' tails alla on fire, for he on every tail had knit a brand. 3225 and they brand alla the corns in that London, and alla hear olivers and vines eke. 1,000 men he slow eke with his hand, and had no weepon but an ass's cheek. One they were slain, so Thursday had him that he 3230 was wel my lorn, for which he gone to pray. 51, that God wolde on his pain han sampati, and send him drink, or else most he die. 246, T 14049, 14080. And of this ass's cheek, that was Dre, out of a wong tooth sprang anon o welly, 3235 of which she drank winog, shortly to saith, thus help him God, as I Uticum can tell. 3235, anon, restinok, enough, enu, nc. By very force, at Gazan, on a night, Mogre Philistines of that city, the gates of the tune he hath up plight. 3240 and on his back why carried hem hath he. 61, high on an hill, that men might hem see. O noble almighty Samson, leaf and dear, had thou not told to woman thy secret, in all this world ne had been thy pair. 3245 This Samson never sicer drank ni win, na on his heed cam ras ar noon ni sheer, by precept of the Masager divin, for Allah his strengths in his hay race were, and fully 20 winter, year by year. 3250 he had of Israel the governance. 71, but son shall he weep in many a tear, for woman shall him bring into meschance. 3245, ehn sicer, for sicer, hl sicer, cm pt lane sither, cp sitter. Unto his lemon dalida he told her that in his hay race al his strength lay. 3255 and falsely to his foeman she him sold. And sleeping in her barm up on a day she made to clip where sheer is heroi, and made his foeman al his craft to spyin, and one that they am fond in this array. 3260 they bound him fast, and put 10 out his yen. 3257, EHL Hayrace, rest here, here. 3258, EHN this craft, rest his craft. 81, but or his hair were clipped or why shave, there was no bond with which men might him bind, but now is he in prison in a cave, whereas they made him at the Quern grind. 247, T 14081, 14112. 3265 O noble Samson, strongest of mankind, O whilom Eugen glory and in Rick Hesse, now mayst o weepen with thyn yen blind, sit thou fro will art fall in wretchedness. 3261, E were, rest was, CL 3328. Then of this caitiff was as I shall say, 3270 his foemen made a fest upon a day, 91, and made him as here fool by for hem play, and this was in a temple of greed array. But at last he made a foul affray, for he two pillars shook, and made him fall, 3275 and down fill temple and al, and there lay, and slow himself, and eke his foemen alle. 3271, ECMA, rest higher, here. 3274, E, the rest too. This is to saying, the prince is every chun, and eke 3,000 bodies wer there slain with falling of the Greta temple of Stun. 3280 of Samson now will I now more sane. 101, Beth war by this ensample old and play that no men tell concile till here wives of switch thing as they wolde han secree fain, if that it touche here limies or here lives. Hercules. 3285 of Hercules the sovereign conqueror singen his works loudy in hey renown, for in his time of strength he was the flower. He slow, and raft the skin of the leon, he of centauros laid the boost down, 3290 he arpies slow, the cruel brids fell, 111, he golden apples raft of the dragown, he draw out Cerberus, the hound of Helle. He slow the cruel tyrant Busiris, and made his to freedom, flesh and boon, 3295 he slow the fiery serpent venomous, of Acloas two horns, he Bracuan, 248, T14113, 14148. And he slow Cacus in a cave of Stun, he slow the Gonanthius the Strange, he slow the grizzly boar, and that anoon, 3300 and bar the heaven on his neck lunge. 3294, E, flesh. 3296, ECM horns 2, rest 2 horns. 121, was never white, sit that the world bygan, that slow so many monstresses died he. Throughout this wide world his name ran, what for his strength, and for his hay bounty, 3305 and every realm went he for to see. He was so strong that no man might him let, at boat of the world's endies, seeth trophy, instead of bounds, he a piler set. 3308, E, Stide, Piler. A lemon had this noble champion, 3310 that hight Deianira, fresh as May 131, and, as thy clerks make in mention, she hath him sent a cheroot fresh and gay. Allahs. This cheroot, Allahs, and wail away. Envenomed was so subtly with Allah, 3315 that, or that he had worded half a day, it made his flesh owl from his bones fall. 3310, 2. E, fresh. 3316, E, flesh. But Nathalie's some clerks here excusin by Gwyn that height Nessus, that it maked, be as be may, I will here not accusin, 3320 but on his bach this cheroot he word all naked, 141, till that his flesh was for the venom blaked. And one he say knew nother remedy, in oat coals he hath himself raked, for with no venom they net him to die. 3325 Thus starf this worthy mighty Hercules, lo, who may trust on fortune any throw? For him that falleth all this world of prees, ere he be war, is oft wylate full low. Full wis is he that can himself know. 3330 Beth war, for one that fortune list to gloss, 151, then waiteth she here man to overthrow by switch away as he wold illuist suppose. 249, T 14149, 14180. Nabucodonosor, Nebuchadnezzar. The mighty throne, the precious tresor, the glorious scepter and royal majesty 3335 that had the king Nabucodonosor, with Tanj unnethe may described be. He twice won Jerusalem the city, the vessel of the temple he with him lada. At Babylon was his sovereign sea, 3,340 inches which his glory and his delight he had. 3336, H. Elvneths. 161, the fairest children of the blood royal of Israel he leet to Gelda Anun, and make deck of hem to bin his thrall. Amongst other Daniel was Uan, 3345 that was the wisest child of every chun, for he the dreams of the king expound, whereas in Caldi clerk ne was the noon that wist to what foon his dreams sound. This proud king leet make a statue of gold, 3350-60 cubits long, and 7 in breed, 171, to which image both a young and old commanded he to loot, and have in dreed, or in a forties full of flambe's reed he shall be brent, that wolde not obey. 3355 but never wolde assent to that deedy Daniel, any his young philos tway. 3351 E. The rest to EHNCM, he boda, rest omit he. 3352 EHNCM omit he. This king of kings proud was in a lot, he wendy that god, that sit in majesty, namitim nat bereave his estate, 3360 but suddenly he lost his dignity, 181, and like a best him semed for to be, and eat hay as an ox, and lay there it, in rain with wild bests walked he, till certain time was come a but. 250, T 14181, 14212. 3365 and like an eagle's feathers wex his hay race, his nailess like a brid's claws were, till God realized him a certain years, and yaff him wit, and then with many a tear he thanked God, and ever his life in fear 3370 was he to dunamis, or more tracepace, 191, and, till that time he laid was on his bear, he knew that God was full of might and grace. 3365, Wex is the right reading, when CM Wexen, and HLCP were, for Wex, EHN Wax, PD Lane was, for Wax. Balthasar, Belshazzar. His son, which that hight Balthasar, that healed the regni after his fader day, 3375 he by his fader could not be war, for proud he was of hurt and of array, and eken idolaster was he I. His high estate assured him in pride. But fortune cast him down, and there he lay, 3380 and suddenly his regni gone divide. 3377, E, he was, rest was he. 201, a fest he made unto his lord Zella up on a time, and bade him blithe be, and then his officers gone he kaye goth, bringeth forth the vessels, though, quod he, 3385 which that my fader, in his prosperity, out of the temple of Jerusalem bereft, and to our high gods thank we of honor, that our elders with us laughed. 3384, I supply though. For vessels, see 3391, 3416, 3418. His WAF, his lords, and his concubines 3390 I drunken, WHYL here appetites last, 211, out of these noble vessels sundry wines, and on a wall this king his yen cast, and say in hand armleys, that root full fast, for fear of which he quook and psych sore. 3395 this hand, that Balthasar so sore aghast, Rudmain, Techel, Fairs, and Namor. 251, T 14213, 14244. And now that London magician was noon that could expound what this letter meant, but Daniel expounded anew, 3400 and said, King, God to thy fader lente, 221, glory and honor, regni, tracer, ront, and he was proud, and nothing God ne drad, and therefore God gret resh up on him sente, and him bereft the regni that he had. 3400, HN lente, rest sente, but CL 3403. 3405 he was outcast of man's company, with asses was his habitation, and eat hay as a best in wheat and dry, till that he knew, by grace and by resound, that God of heaven hath domination 3410 over every regni and every creature, 231, and thaned God of him compassion, and him restored his regni in his figure. Eke thou, that art his son, art proud also, and knowest all these things verily. 34:15 And art rebel to God, and art his foe. Thou drank eke of his vessels boldly, thy wife eke and thy wenches sinfully drunk of the same vessels saundery wines, and areast false gods cursedly. 34:20 Therefore to thee y-shapen full gret pine is. 241 This hand was sent from God, that on the wall wrote main, techel, fairs, trust me, thy regni is dune, thou weighest not at all, divided is thy regni, and it shall be. 34:25 To Medes and to Perses Yevon, quod he. And thilk same night this king was slaw, and Darius occupieth his degree, thought he thirdo had neither right ne law. 34:22 EHN CPHL Trust, PT Trust, Lane Trust, CM Trust 2. CB of 42:14. 34:25 OM Yevon. 252 T 14245 14276. Lordings, in sample hereby may ye take 34:30 How that in lordship is no sicerness. 251 For one fortune will a man forsake, she bereth all his regni and his riqueza, and eke his friends, both more and less. For what man that hath friends third fortune. 34:35 Mishap will make hem enemies, I guess. This proverb is full sooth and full commune. 34:35 As I, the rest omit as. Zenobia, Zenobia. Zenobia, of Polymery queen, as right in Persians of here noblesse, so worthy was in arms and so keen. 34:40 That no wight passed here in hardiness. 261 Ne in lineage, ne in other gentilesse. Of king's blood of Persis she descended, I say a nat that she had most fairness, but of here shape she might nat been amended. 34:37 So EHNCM and CP has the heading de Zenobia Palamary Regina. 34:41 CPPT lane HL and IN E nor in HN N CM nor NIAN equals NN. 34:45 From your childhead I find that she fled office of woman, and to woad she went, and many a wild hurt's blood she shed with ours broad that she to hem sent a. She was so swift that she anon hem hent. 34:50 In one that she was elder, she wold a kill. 271 Lions, leopards, and barricel Tarrant, and in here arms weld hem at here will. She durst wild beast has dene seek, and rennen in the montagnes all the night. 34:55 And slepen under a bush, and she could eke wrastlin by very force and very might with any young man, were he never so white, there might nothing in her arms stand. She kept her maidenhood from every wight. 34:60 To no man deigned here for to be bond. 34:55 EHNCM The rest a he bush. 253 T 14277 14308. 281 But at last your friends han here Marie de Odnik, a prince of that country, al were it so that she hem lunged, and ye shall understand how that he 34:65 had switch fantasies as had she. But Nathalese, when they were knit in fear, they lived in Io and in felicity, for eke of hem had other leaf and dear. 34:62 EHNCM Wondake, CP Lane HL Odnik, PT Odnek. 34:68 Other leaf. Save o thing, that she never wolde was sent. 34:70 By no way, that he should by here lie. 291 But once, for it was here plain on tanto have a child, the world to multiply, and also soon as that she might espy that she was nat with child with that deity. 34:75 Then wolde she suffer him dune his fantasy f son, and nat but once, out of dread. And if she were with child at thilk cast, no more should he play in thilk game till fully 40 days wherein past. 34:80 Then wolde she once suffer him do the same. 301 Al were this Odnik wild or tame, he gat no more of here, for thus she said, it was to wives late and shame and other casts, if that men with him played. 34:81 EHNCM Wondake, rest Odnik. 34:85 Two sones by this Odnik had she, the wish she kept in virtue and lettre, but now unto our tale turn we. I say, so worshipful a creature, and was therewith, and large with measure. 34:90 So penible in the war, and courteous eke, 311, the more labor might and wear endure, was noon, thok el this world men should seek. 3485, om this. Ehn cm one dake, rest odnake. 3492, though, hn thok. Wolda, rest should, shoed. 254, T 14309, 14340. Here Risharay and might not be told as WL and vessel as in here clothing. 3495 she was el clad in Paris and in gold, and each she laughed not, for noon hunting, to have of sundry tonges full knowing, one that she leisure had, and for to intend to learn in books was all ear liking. 3500 how she in virtue might her life to spend. 321, and, shortly of this story for to treat, so doughty was here housebound in Ichi, that they conquered many regs Greta in the Orient, with many a fair city, 3505 appertenant unto the Majesty of Rome, and with strong hand held hem full fast, and never might hear a foeman doon hem flee, iwhyl that Odenix days last. 3501, prose, rest story. 3508, hl Odenix, rest wondakes, Odnake. Here bad ales, whoso list hem for to read, 3510 against Sapper the king and other mo, 331, and how that all this prose fill indeedy, why she conquered and what title had thirdo, and after of here mischief and here what, how that she was besieged in white take, 3515 let him unto my maester Petrarch go, that writ wine off of this, I undertake. 3511, omits that. 3512, CPPT lane HL had, which HN CM omit. When Odnik was deed, she mightily the regs healed, and with her propra hand again her foos she fought so cruelly, 3520 that there Aeneas king and he prince in all that land, 341, that he Aeneas glad, if that he grace fond, that she any wolde up on his London where I, with here they made alliance by bond to bin and peas, and lead her ride and play. 3517, so CPPT lane HL, EHN CM one dake. 3518, Hand, PT Hand, Lane Hand, Rest Honduras 3523. Mrs. Maid, Reed Maiden? 255, T 14341, 14372. 3525 The Emperor of Rome, Claudius, Nahim Bifor, the Romine Galilean, Nadorst never been so courageous, Nanun Erman, Ninun Egyptian, Nasurian, Ninun Arabian, 3530 within the feld that Dorst with here fight, 351, lest that she wolde hem with here Hans Slen, or with here Maini put ten hem to flight. 3530, CP Field, HL Feld, Lane Feld, PT Field, EHN CM Fielda. In King's habit went here Sones too, as heirs of here Fadres Regzala, 3535 and Hermano, and Thimaleo her names were, as Persians hem Kaye. But I fortune hath in here Honigal, this mighty queen may no whyl endure. Fortune out of here Regni made here fall 3540 to wretchedness and to misadventure. 361, Aurelian, one that the governance of Rome came into his Hans tway, he shoop up on this queen to do vengeance, and with his legions he took his way 3545 towards Senebe, and, shortly for to say, he made here flee, and at last here hent, and fettered here, and eke here children tway, and won the London, and whom to Rome he went. Amongst other things that he won, 3550 here char, that was with gold wrought in Paris, 371, this Greta Romine, this Aurelian, hath with him lad, for that men should at sea. Bifor in his triumph he walketh she with gilt chains on her neck hanging, 3555 crown was she, as after her degree, and full of Paris charged her clothing. 3553, Mrs. Biforn, Bifor, HL Bifor this. 3555, omits as. 256, T 14373, 14708. Allah's fortune. She that whilom was dreadful to kings and to emperors, now goureth al the pepple on here, Allah's. 3560 and she that helmed was in stark stures, 381, and won by force tune Strange and Therese, Shalon here he'd now were a vitramite, and she that bar the sceptre full of flowers, T at 14380. Shilbera distaff, here cost for to quite. 3560, E. Showers. 3562, HL Wintermite. 3564, HNCM Lane Cost, PT Cost, ECP Costs, HL Self. Nero follows in T, see page 259. De Petro Regis Spani. T14685.0 Noble, O worthy Petro, glory of Spain, 3566 fortune healed so high in Magaste, WL Otten men thy patus deeth complain. Out of thy London thy brother made thee flee, and after, at a sedge, by subtlety, 3570 thou were bytrade, and lad unto his taunt, 391, whereas he with his Owen Han slow thee, succeeding in thy regning and in thy raunt. 3570, EHN, CM, bytraced. T14693. The field of snow, with Thegel of black thurin, caught with the limrod, colored as the gleed, 3575. Ye brew this cursens in this sin. The wicked nest was worker of this need, not Charles Oliver, but I took Hutta of Trouth and honor, but of Armorite General and Oliver, corrupt for mead, 3580. Brought this worthy king in switch a brike. 3577, EHNCM, took I, arrest I took. De Petro Reg Discipro. 401, O worthy Petro, king of Cypre, also, that Alessandro won by Hey Maestri, full many a heathen rotsto fulwa, of which thyn Owen leges had envy, 3585. And, for nothing but for thy chivalry, they in thy bed han slain thee by the moorway. Thus can fortune here will govern in Gye, T14708. And out of Io ye bringe men to Sorway. 257, T14709, 14740. De Barnabo de Lombardia. Of Melangreta Barnabo Viscount, 3590. God of Delit, and Scourge of Lombardy, for 11, why should I not thyn in fortune account, sithen estit thy plome were so high? Thy brother's son, that was thy double a lie, for he thine view was, and son-in-law, 3595. Within his prison made thee to die, but why, anyhow, note I that thou were slaw. De Hugolino, comite de Pise. Of the ill Hugelin of Pise the Langar the may no tange tell for petit, but Lytel out of Pise stand a tour, 3600 inches which tour in prison put was he, 421, and with him been his Lytel children 3. The eldest scarcely fyf year was of age. Allah's, fortune. It was Greek cruelty switch brids for de putty and switch a cage. 3597 E Pies, HN Pies, CP Pies, Pity Lane HL Pise. 3599 EHN CM Pies, CP Pies, Pity Lane HL Pise. 3605 Damned Ned was he to die in that prison, for Roger, which that bishop was of Pies, had on him Matafal's suggestion, third which the pepple gone upon him rise, and put 10 him to prison and switchwise 3610 as ye hun heard, and meat and drink he had, 431, so small, that WL unneeded may suffice, and therewithal it was full povera and bad. 3606 EHN Pies, CM Pies, CP Pies, PT Lane HL Pise. 3611 E, PT omit WEL. And on a day by Phil that, in that hour, one that his meat wool was to be brought, 3615 the gaoler shet the doors of the tour. He heard it WEL, but he spak right not, and in his hurt anon there fill a thight, that they for hunger wolde doen him dine. Allahs, quod he, Allahs. That I was wrought. 3620 therewith the Terry's fillin from his yen. 3616 EHN spak right, CPHL saw it, can say it, Lane saw it. 258 T14741, 14772. 441 His young son, that 3 year was of age, unto him said, Fader, why do ye weep? One will the gaoler bring in our potage, is there no morsel breed that ye do keep? 3625 I am so hungry that I may not sleep, now wolde God that I might slepen ever. Then should not hunger in my one crape, there is no thing, save breed, that me were lever. 3622, EHN, repeat fader. 3628, lane HL saw, CPPT soft, EHN but. Thus day by day this child bygone to cry, 3630 till in his fadres barmadown it lay, 451, and said, far WL, fader, I moot die, and keest his fader, and did the same day. And one the woeful fader deed it say, for way his arms too he gone to bite, 3635 and said, Alice, fortune. And wail away. Thy false wheel my what al may I wite. 3632, EHL died, HNCP dade, CL 3644. His children Wendy that it for hunger was that he his arms know, and not for way, and said, fader, do not so, Alice. 3640 but rather eat the flesh upon us too, for 61, our flesh thy us, tack our flesh us fro and eat wine off right thus they to him said, and after that, within a day or two, they laid him in his lap down, and dade. 3640, E, flesh. 3641, E, flesh. EHN moment versus after Yaf. 3645 himself, despaired, eke for hunger starf, thus ended is this mighty Earl of Pice, from hayested fortune all him carf. Of this tragedy it oat wine of suffice. Whoso will hear it in a langer wise, 3650 readeth the Greta poeta vitale, for 71, that height dant, for he can el devise, tia 14772. Fro point to point, not a word will thee file. 3646, C note to L 3597. 259, T 14381, 14412. 4T 14773, see page 269, 4T 14380, see page 256. Nero. T 14381. Although that Nero were as vicious as any fiend that lieth full low adown, 3655 yet he, as telleth us Suetonius, this wide world had in subjection, both estate and west, south and septentrion, of rubies, sapphires, and of pearls white were allay his clothes brought it up and down, 3660 for he in gems greatly gone delight. 3653, EHN, CM omites. 3654, E, in Hella, rest full low. 3657, EHN CM north, but red south, CPPT lane HL omit. 481, more delicat, more pompous of array, more proud was never emperor than he, that ilk cloth, that he had word o' day, after that time he nolded never see. 3665 netties of gold thread had he gret plenty to fishy in Tibra, won him least play. His lusts were all law and his decree, for fortune is his friend him wolde obey. He roam brand for his delicacy, 3670 the senatures he slow up on a day. 491, to hear how men wolde weep and cry, and slow his brother, and by his sister lay. His motor made he in petus array, for he here womslet, to bite hold 3675 where he conceived was, so while away. That he so lightel of his motor tolda. 3673, 6. E. Mooter.